everyone. Happy Saturday. We thought, we are heading into the busy season of festivities. It's kind of cool. It's cooled down where we are, and it's a little bit blustery today, and it just kind of feels like the cozy sort of Saturday that we want to stay in and do a little something with our friends. So, I saw this funny thing on Pinterest. I was on Pinterest the other day and I saw this really cute kids craft. It was basically a circle of orange felt cut out with hole punches all the way around the edge and then a little green ribbon woven through it and cinched shut. And it basically makes this really cute little miniature pumpkin circle sack. And I thought, oh, we could crochet something like that. Wouldn't that be the cutest little treat sack to, use as a little loot bag or to put a little something in, if you're setting a table for Thanksgiving, or if you just want to kind of bring somebody a little pick-me-up as we head into the deeper fall. So I thought we would make this cute little thing today. It's, I love these little cinch sacks. It's got a little kind of leaf on it, which is totally optional. You can include that if you want, but it's got a dual drawstring, so it makes it easier to open and close, and it's basically just a little circle, and that's what we're going to stitch up today. I wrote up the pattern. If you want to pick up a copy of it, it's in our Etsy shop. It's also today's sneaky sale. We haven't done a sneaky sale in a while, so that's today's sneaky sale. Brand new pattern for a fun little sort of pumpkin circle sack. And of course, you can use the same concept in different colors for any time of the year. I'm just thinking this in red and white and green would look really, really pretty, or all in red with a little bit of a green edge might look a little more apple-like. So lots of options for this. It's just a cute little way to make a quick sack, and you can definitely hide a nice little sized treat in there. A couple of little chocolate bars, some mints, other little favorite candies, a little tiny toy, a little bit of jewelry, whatever you might want to use this little tiny circle sack for. It's also kind of cute to keep in your purse if you have little things that go missing, like lip chaps and stuff. Well, it's easier to find a little sack than it is sometimes the little thing that gets lost in our purse. So that's what we're going to make today. Rita, thank you, Rita. Rita's popped into the shop and picked it up. Thank you so very much. Mr. InStitches has the link in the live chat box there. So if you want to pop into the shop, that's the link. So let's tell you what you need for today's tutorial. I used orange, brown, and green yarns. This is all a size 4 medium weight acrylic, but it's a scrap project. So like I said, you can use any colors you want depending on the kind of little image you want to portray with the sack, or if you just want to make a little circle sack, any color you want. Size 4 weight or size 5 chunky weight is perfectly fine for this project. You only really need around 25 yards for the orange part, about 5 yards each for the brown and the green. Like I said, the leaf is optional. You don't have to do that, but we're just stitching up some really simple little drawstrings, and we're just edging the top with a little bit of extra color. So really not that much yarn. I used a 4.5 millimeter hook, also known as a size 7. But if you're going to use the slightly chunkier weight yarn and you have tighter tension, you could go up a half a hook size to a 5 millimeter or an H8. But use the hook that best suits you and your yarn, because the hook isn't super important. What you do want, though, is a fairly thick stitch appearance. Like, you don't want it to be very holy. You don't want big spaces between your stitches. So whatever hook gets that nice thick kind of stitchery is what you want for this project. That way you can really fiddle with the yarn type, the fiber, and the hook size to just get the best suited little circle for you. Pair of scissors, yarn needle, and that's it. So let's get right into it. We're going to start with the orange, or the main color of the sack. So if you're going to make it red, or whatever color you want, we start at the bottom, we work our way out, and let's get right into that. I'm going to leave this right here, kind of just cinched up. I love this. You can tie up the little ties too. I also like how they kind of look a little bit tendrily. It's just such a cute little sack. I love cute things. I also love to make stuff out of crochet that is inspired by other crafts. Like I said, this was a kid's craft made out of felt that I saw on Pinterest that I thought would be really fun to recreate with crochet. So here we go. We're going to use a cinch circle to begin. So we're going to make a little circle, and we're going to chain 1 to secure the circle, and chain 2 more, so that we are starting with a chain 3. But for the purpose of this little pattern, the chain 3 that begins every single row doesn't actually count as a stitch. We're just using it to kind of get up to the right height. Joanne, thank you so much for picking up a pattern. So the chain 3 doesn't count, and we will be using the false stitch, which of course I'll point out to you when we get to it. All right, let's use the double crochet stitch. We're going to double crochet 12 times into the cinch circle, working over top of that short tail so we can cinch the circle shut. And I do recommend highly using the cinch circle method for this particular project and not a chained ring, because it's a sack. So you don't want a hole at the bottom. You don't want anything to kind of want to work its way through to the bottom. And the cinch circle is the best option for that. Hello, Lorraine. Lorraine has made it. Hello, hello. Lorraine has been a member for 47 months. Thank you, Lorraine. With a membership milestone, Lorraine says, thank you, Jayda and Mr. InStitches, for all you do. So excited to catch a live. Your fur baby's adorable. Much love. Thank you. Yes, if you don't hear or see a lot of Mr. InStitches today, it's because he's babysitting. We are doing some crate training still and trying to get her kind of used to going in her crate during the day and not just at night. So we're going to try and keep the whimpering and whining to a minimum. Poor little thing. She's still getting used to it, and we're still getting used to her. But thank you, Lorraine. Yes, so far she's been a lot of work, but she's been a lot of fun. Let me see here. I want 12 double crochets because my chain 3 doesn't count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 3 more. All right, that's 12 double crochets. Like I said, the chain 3 doesn't count. I'm going to grab that short tail, cinch it up nice and tight. This way you don't see any space in the middle. Skip your chain 3 and just find the top of the first real double crochet and slip stitch to join. I'm going to work over top of my short tail. You don't have to. You can leave it out to the back and just weave it in later if you find that's a little more comfortable. Not a big deal. All right, to begin row 2, we're going to chain 3. And right into the same place that we just chained 3 out of, we're going to double crochet into the same place. And now you're going to double crochet twice in each stitch all the way around. So let's just start with that. I see a couple questions in there. Penelope is brand new. She's 10 weeks old, Marie, today or yesterday. So she's very, very young. She's still kind of getting the hang of how things run around here, but she's a miniature dachshund, so she thinks that she runs the show already, and we're trying to correct that behavior as quickly as we can. And we thought it would be nice to just sort of hang out today. We were kind of joking last week with Jessica Rabbit that we owed you guys a live stream because last Monday we had to cancel. Or the 2 Mondays ago, I suppose, because we had just gotten Penelope, and we were and still are sleep deprived, so we needed some extra time to just sort of collect ourselves. I've been having trouble stringing sentences together, so if I sound a little funny today, I'm going to blame it on lack of sleep. All right. 2 double crochet in every single stitch all the way around, and that brings us up to the false stitch. The false stitch is actually the slip stitch from the previous row. That's how we joined the row, and it always sits right at the very base of the chain 3, and it looks like the chain 3 is actually coming out of it. So it sits right to the bottom right if you're right-handed, working right-handed. It'll sit to the bottom left if you're left-handed and working left-handed. In this case, we're going to use that false stitch. We're just going to double crochet into it once. And then we're going to skip the chain 3 and actually join with a slip stitch to the top of the first double crochet we made. So working a double crochet into that false stitch negates the chain 3. So that's why we can skip the chain 3. And basically what happens is you get this lovely solid circle. So we skip the chain 3, we ignore the chain 3, it doesn't actually count as a stitch. When we join with a slip stitch to the top of the first real double crochet we made, it pushes the chain 3 to the back. You don't end up with a gap. So you'll have 24 double crochets all the way around at the end of row 2. And here we go. We're going to chain 3. Again, this isn't going to count as a stitch, but we do need to get up to the right height. Into the same place that we chained 3 out of, we're going to double crochet into that same place. And then we're going to double crochet into the next stitch. So now we're on to row 3. We are on to the third increase part of the pattern. So the pattern is 2 double crochet into the next stitch, double crochet into the stitch after that, 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2, 1, 2, 1, all the way around. And you'll finish with your last double crochet in the stitch just before the false stitch, and we're going to use the false stitch again. So let's just focus on working 2 double crochet and then 1 double crochet and then 2 double crochet and then 1 double crochet all the way around. And if you're like me and you're chit-chatting, you can always pause and just make sure that you haven't like accidentally messed up your little stitch pattern. 2, 1, 2, 1 all the way around. Yes, 10 weeks, sweetie. Oh, I can't hear her. Is she falling asleep? You can just answer in the chat. We're so afraid of waking her up. Joya! Hello, Joya! Joya is still visiting with her family. Thank you so much for picking up a pattern in our shop. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, I hear some more whimpering. That's okay. She'll get used to it. Never has there been a more spoiled dog. At least not in this family. All right, 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet all the way around. All right, and the last double crochet of that little repeater pattern should be the last or the top of the last stitch all the way around, and that leaves you right again at that false stitch. The reason we call it a false stitch is because it really looks like a full stitch, but you can tell because that chain 3 looks like it's coming right out of it. So if I pulled back that front loop, it looks like the chain 3 is coming right out of it. That's how you know it's the false stitch, and in this case we're using it. So we're just going to double crochet once into it. Oops, try that again. Double crochet once, and then we're skipping the chain 3 and we're joining with a slip stitch to the top of the first real double crochet. That pushes the chain 3 to the back. You'll have 36 actual double crochet stitches all the way around and a nice even flat circle. So we're halfway through the build of the circle now. We've got 3 more rows, or actually 2 more rows of increasing before we do 1 row of a little finishing bit of color. So we're going to chain 3 to begin row 4 and right into the same place that we joined. That if you pull up, you can see that space right there. We're going to double crochet. And then we're going to double crochet once into each of the next 2 stitches. So we're on row 4. And the increased pattern for row 4 is 2 double crochet into the next stitch. And then a double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. So row 4 and the increase repeater equals 4. If it's row 2, the increase repeat equals 2. If it's row 3, the increase repeat equals 3. So for example, when I say that, I mean 2 double crochet into the next stitch is the beginning of the little repeater. So that's 2. And then a double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches equals 4. 2, 1, 1. 2 plus 1 plus 1 is 4. We're on row 4. The increased pattern equals 4. When we're on row 5, the increased pattern will equal 5. And that is an evenly increasing pattern for a circle. And it works with all stitches. All plain stitches, I should say, like single crochet, half double crochet, etc. 2, 1, 1 all the way around. Hello, Dawn. Dawn has been a member for 72 months. My gosh, thank you so much, Dawn. Dawn with a membership milestone says, hi, Jayda and Mr. InStitches. Happy holidays. Yes, as far as I'm concerned, Halloween gets here. Actually, you know what? Even for us in Canada, our Thanksgiving is on like the second weekend usually of October. And as far as I'm concerned, that's holiday season. We just start in the second weekend of October, and then it's Thanksgiving, and it's Halloween, and then it's American Thanksgiving and Black Friday, and then we are right into Christmas. I just love this time of year. There's so much fun to be had, so many reasons to celebrate, so many reasons to cook things, and so many reasons to crochet stuff. I'm having a little bit of tea this afternoon. 211, 211, all the way around for row 4. And at the end of row 4, we'll be angling our way towards 48 double crochets all the way around as we make this nice little increasing, very simple circle. This is a great pattern for beginners because this is really just a bit of math and the double crochet stitch, so there's really nothing tricky here. Hi, Anne. I'm so happy that some of you are finally able to catch a live. We are really delighted to be able to have some time here on Saturday to just sort of hang out with you all. And if you're just joining us, we are making this little pumpkin sack. It's a pumpkin circle sack. This is inspired by a kid's craft that I saw on Pinterest that was made out of felt using a similar kind of concept. It's just such a cute, simple little sack, and I thought it would be nice to just hide some goodies in, some little treasures. Or you could use it sort of as a little loot bag at place settings if you're the type that sets a Thanksgiving table. We set tables in our house, and I always like to have a little something on the table, a little treat bag, or a little bowl full of these bags with a little treat in them as a loot bag at the door. That's fun too. And the written pattern is available in our Etsy shop. It's today's sneaky sale, and if you're looking for the link to our Etsy shop, Mr. InStitches has it up top in the chat. It's also in the description box down below. And sneaky sale means it's on 15% off. So thank you so much to everybody who's gone and picked up a copy of it already. I really appreciate it. All right. So 211, 211 all the way around, and then the last double crochet in the repeater. So 211, the last little repeater ends just before that false stitch. We're going to double crochet into it, skip the chain 3, and join with a slip stitch to the top of the first real double crochet. You will have 48 double crochets all the way around, a nice flat perfect circle. If your circle kind of wants to bowl up on you a little bit, that's okay, because eventually you're going to be turning it into a sack anyhow. And another thing you want to keep in mind is you want to make sure that you don't have obvious gaps or spaces between your stitches. You really want a solid looking bit of crochet fabric because it's a bag. You don't want little things sort of, being encouraged to slip through the cracks or the spaces. A little sip of my tea. A battery candle. Yeah, Chase, that would look cute with a little battery candle kind of perched in it. That would look very cute, actually, especially if it was a little taller, if you can get like a pillar candle. Battery operated, obviously. We want to be nice and safe. Row 5 and the last row of increase, we're going to chain 3 and double crochet in the same place as the chain 3. And of course it's row 5, so the increase pattern needs to equal 5. So let's just double crochet once into each of the next 3 stitches before we launch into our nice little repeater. Okay, 2 double crochet into the next stitch. That's the first part of the increase pattern, and then double crochet once into each of the next 3 stitches, I should say. So we are at 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 5. So we will repeat 2 double crochet into the next stitch, and then double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches, a total of 11 times all the way around. And the last one will bring us right up to the stitch just before the false stitch. And we're going to continue to use that little sneaky skip the chain 3 trick. Yes, Mr. InStitches has company in the well now. Joya says, I used your pumpkin hat last Thursday in a very small version as a place gift. It was fun to see people lift it up and find a truffle. Oh, I love that. And Georgie asks, do you have a pattern for a square or rectangular basket? Yes, we have patterns and tutorials for both. So we've got a pattern and a tutorial for a large cube basket, which I think is about 10 inches by 10 inches by 10 inches. That's a fun multi-strand project. And much like our big beautiful basket pattern, if you use a bunch of different colors together, it looks beautiful. And we've got a similar multi-strand version for a low rectangular basket. And that pattern has 2 different sizes in it, sort of different lengths and slightly different widths. And we have tutorials for both of those, the cube and the rectangular pattern. Love baskets around here. 2 1 1 1 2 1 1 1 all the way around, and we're angling towards 60 double crochet. Hi Sparkles, if you just got here, we are making this little circle cinch sack, little pumpkin circle sack with drawstrings. It cinches up nice and tight with the double drawstring. And you can tie these drawstrings and get it to go a little bit tighter if you want. I just love how it looks like a little treasure sack. And it's just the perfect little thing to tuck a little treat into. Nice little loot bag for everybody, or a little place setting bag. That's kind of what I was thinking. I like to sort of put a little extra something at the placemats when we're having guests over. It's just cute. So you can use any fiber you want. I'm using acrylic because I actually have a different purpose for this particular one in mind, and this one they're gonna be just little gift bags over the holiday season. But you could always use cotton, you could use wool, you can use any fiber you want, and I recommend a size 4 or a size 5 weight yarn for this. And I'm using a 4.5 millimeter hook, but you can really use whatever hook gets you the best tension with the yarn style you've chosen. Dawn, thank you so much for picking up the pattern. Really appreciate it. Today's pattern is on sneaky sale in the Etsy shop. Haven't done a sneaky sale in a little while, so that's fun. Links in the description box and up top in the chat. Mr. InStitches is, I think he's mollified our little gremlin. I think I don't hear any whimpering coming from the other room, so yoo-hoo! Hello, hello! Welcome, welcome. If you're just joining us on a Saturday, it's lovely to hang out with everybody and do a little crafting. So we are on row 5 of this little pumpkin circle sack. It's the last row of increase. 2 double crochet into the first stitch of the set, followed by a double crochet in each of the next 3. That little repeater works all the way around and finishes in the stitch just before the false stitch, which is where I'm about to land. There we go. Last stitch of the repeater. Here I am. There's the false stitch. It sits right at the base of the chain 3. I'm going to double crochet into that stitch, skip the chain 3, and join with a slip stitch to the top of the first real double crochet, and that gives you an almost seamless circle. Anna, thank you so much for picking up the pattern. Almost seamless circle all the way around. There are no gaps, and all those double chain 3s are kind of shoved to the back. It makes for a nice solid crochet fabric, and that's important when you want to have a little treat tucked in there. Okay, that's 5 rows of increasing double crochet. You're at 60 double crochet stitches all the way around. That's it. Now, like I said at the very beginning, you can make this out of any colors you want. I'm thinking a pile of them in little Christmassy colors would be so cute. Obviously, for next Halloween, if you want something to, you know, kind of tuck little treats into, you can make them in Halloween-y colors. This is just a perfect little circle sack pattern. And I made it a little bit more, I mean, I'm going to use the word complicated, I guess, interesting, I guess, just by adding a little bit of extra brown around the top, just to kind of make it look like it's the stem or the top of the pumpkin. I've kind of got a pumpkin sitting here, and so kind of it pretends to be a stem. And then of course I used green for the drawstrings, and I made a little leaf. The leaf's optional though. You can use another leaf. I'll explain how to do that too. So if you wanted to make this an apple, you could make it all in red with a little brown at the top if you wanted, and then whatever color you want for the drawstrings, and you can add a little apple leaf in the same way that I've done this, which I'll talk about momentarily. Once we're finished with the ever increasing double crochet circle, we've hit 60 double crochets all the way around. It is time to fasten off. I'm just going to work right over top of this short tail, so nice and tight. And now I'm moving on to my brown yarn. So let me get that out of here. There we go. Brown yarn. This is row 6 of the little circle sack. We're going to make a slip knot, and we're going to join with a single crochet in the same place that we joined our yarn. Now technically you can join with a single crochet in any stitch, it doesn't really matter, but for simplicity's sake I like to join in the same place that I fastened off. So if I pull up on that tail, I can see that space. I'm going to join with a single crochet right there. This also lets me work over top of those tails up front. Joining with a single crochet, and now I'm just going to single crochet in every single stitch all the way around. I'm not doing any increasing, I'm not doing any decreasing. I'm just single crocheting in every single stitch. So single crochet all the way around, and we're going to single crochet into the false stitch. So we'll actually have 61 single crochets at the end of this row. If you find that it starts to kind of, if you're still a flat circle, perfect. If you're not a flat circle and it's starting to kind of bow up on you, perfect. It's perfectly all right, because basically this is going to become a little sack. So whether it's a flat circle or a slightly bowl-shaped circle at the end of this row, both are perfectly okay. Oh, she's starting to nod off. Oh goodness. I hope she sleeps for a couple of hours. We need the break. Thanksgiving bingo! Oh, Dawn, that is awesome. Oh, people love winning little prizes. And Becky says these would be perfect for a birthday party or an autumn party. Yes, birthday parties. Like I said, you can make them in any color you want. I'm thinking, imagine an Easter table, one in each of the pastel colors. So you don't even have to add a different colored top if you didn't want to, but you could add white. Make each one a different pastel and then finish it with white and a white drawstring, and it would just look like little globs of pastel icing around the table. That would be so cute. And then you could have like a little chocolate tucked into them. So yes, like I said, this little circle sack idea was so cute and so simple, and it's a stash buster. You can just use whatever you've got on hand, but I'm thinking they would look so adorable, little pastel drops around the table for Easter. You could definitely make these look like really anything. You could stripe every single row. I think that would look really fun and pretty, especially for like a birthday party or something. Hello, hello. Welcome, 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 everybody. If you're just joining us, thank you. It's so nice to see everybody on a Saturday. Okay, I have worked a single crochet into every single stitch all the way around, including the false stitch. So if you see something looks like a stitch, put a single crochet into it. You'll have 61 stitches at the end of the row, and just join with a slip stitch to the top of the first single crochet. Like I said, if it starts to bow up on you, fine. If it's still flat, fine. Not a big deal. Either way is perfectly fine. Because it's just a circle that we're going to turn into a little sack. I'm going to weave my tail in. So on the inside, I'm going to just run that little tail of brown yarn underneath those brown stitches. Hello, Brody. Thanks for watching. Debbie's giving us much needed puppy advice. Thank you, thank you. You could also put a weight of some sort inside it and use it as a pattern weight. Becky, that's genius. Gift it to the sewist in your life. Oh, yeah. Print says it could be partly open and look like a nest with a colorful little candy eggs inside. Yes, that would be adorable. You could make them all in brown and look like little nests and then put little foil wrapped candied chocolate eggs in it. Great idea. You guys are so stinking creative. I just love it. This is why I love you guys. You guys are full of so many awesome ideas. All right, so there's our little circle. I like the right side to be the outside and the wrong side to be the inside, but I mean, honestly, it's up to you. You can decide which side you like best to face outwards. We can put that to the side. Now we're just going to stitch up a couple of really quick little drawstrings. And I'm using green, but you can use whatever color you want. I used green because I thought it gave it like that little tendrily kind of look. Since this is sort of a pumpkin, this particular sack was inspired by a pumpkin. So I'm going to whip up my two little drawstrings quickly. Roseanne, thank you so much for picking up the pattern. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Drawstrings are so fun and easy to whip up. Quick little slip knot, and then I chained 80 for each of mine, but you can make them as long or as short as you want to. So about 80, and I recommend whatever chained length you make the first one, make the second one as identical as possible. So like if you use more than 80 chains, whatever you use, just write that number down so that you make the second drawstring exactly the same as the first. There's 60. And there's 80. 80 chains. Don't need much tail at all. You just enough to pull it through and pull it nice and tight. Pull the other end tight too, and then I like to kind of line up both those knots and just trim it. I don't like to have too much yarn tail. Those can go in my little scrap heap. And that is drawstring number 1. And now I'm going to make the second one identical. And that would be a slip knot followed by 80 chains and then fastening off. Sophie says she'd love to see a vlog with the new puppy in it. We just published one. Mr. InStitches stitched together some photos and footage we have of our new little miss, and that is you'll find that on our YouTube channel homepage. It should be right up top because I think it's we just published that video Thursday, so it'll be right behind or just ahead of the one we published on Friday, which was how to make your own yarn using fabric. Looking forward to using my new fabric yarn for a couple of projects. So that's 40. And there's 80. 80 chains, exactly the same as my other one. I'm just going to pull that tiny little tail all the way through, give it a nice tight yank to make sure that knot isn't going to go anywhere. Same thing on the other side. And then I'm going to take both of those ends and I'm going to trim them. There we go. And that is drawstring number 2. So now I have 2 identical drawstrings, but before I weave them through my little circle, I want to make this cute little leaf. So this is optional. I just thought it was kind of a neat little addition to kind of tuck onto the pumpkin because it kind of sells that like it's a pumpkin kind of feeling to it. I'll show you how to quickly make another leaf that kind of sets in for like if you wanted to make an apple or a different kind of fruit. There are different shaped leaves, but I'll show you how to make our real basic simple ovular leaf. and you can do the same little thing. So first I'm going to show you how to make this little pumpkin leaf, and we're going to use the green, but you can use any color you want. Maybe yellow or red. If it's a fall thing, you can really make this any color. Geez, that would look pretty in yellow or red, just to kind of make it look like the leaves are starting to change as well. We're going to start with a cinch circle. Maybe make like that little circle a bit bigger. Starting with a cinch circle, chaining 3 to begin, and that chain 3 is not going to count as a double crochet, and just like the first row of our little sack, we're going to double crochet 12 stitches into the circle worked over top of that short tail. So 12 double crochet, and the chain 3 does not count. All right, and that is stitch number 12. So that's 12 double crochet worked into the cinch circle. Grab the short tail, cinch it up nice and tight. Skip the chain 3, join with a slip stitch to the top of the first double crochet you made. So the chain 3 doesn't count. Now you've got kind of a nice circular center. And now we're going to build this kind of like little bit of a 3-pronged leaf kind of effect. We're going to slip stitch into each of the next 2 stitches. So I'm going to just kind of sandwich as I slip stitch into those 2 stitches. I'm going to just kind of move my little tail back and forth so I can slip stitch over top of it and just sort of work it in as I go. And now we're going to chain 3 and create a little tip for our leaf. Skip the first chain from the hook, slip stitch into the next chain, single crochet back into what was the first chain. You're going to skip the next stitch along row 1, which was the circle, and slip stitch into the next stitch. So skip a stitch, slip stitch into the next stitch, and that just creates point number 1, and it sort of sits nice and neatly along the edge of your circle. And thank you, Georgiana, for picking up today's pattern. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We've got 2 more little points to make here. So we've chained 3, slip stitch into the second chain, single crocheted into the next chain, skipped a stitch, and slip stitched into the next stitch. So that's point number 1. And now we're going to chain 4. So we're going to make the big middle part now. Chain 4. And much like the first one, skip the first chain from the hook, slip stitch into the next chain, single crochet into the next chain. That leaves you with 1 more half double crochet into that last chain, skip the next stitch and slip stitch into the stitch after that. So now you've got a little point and a bigger point. So that's the one on the right, this is the one in the middle, and now we're going to do the next one. Just like the first, chain 3, skip the first chain from the hook, slip stitch into the second chain, single crochet into the last chain, skip the next stitch, slip stitch into the stitch after that, and then you're going to just slip stitch into each of the next 3 stitches. That basically brings you down to the middle bottom of your circle. And we're going to make the little tiny, I don't know what to call it, like a little toggle basically that allows us to slip it onto the drawstring. Really simple and basic. Chain 3 and slip stitch back into the same place that you left from, and that just creates a tiny little space. Fasten off, pull that nice and tight, and then weave that tail in underneath some of the stitches. I like to go for the stitches around the base of row 1 because they're nice and tight, and that will keep my little tail from wanting to come undone. There we go. There we go. can trim off that tiny little bit of fluff there at the end. Careful not to snip your actual stitches. There we go. All right, so this is our little pumpkin leaf. It's basic, but it's cute, does the trick. And we're going to thread it onto our drawstring pretty much anywhere you want. I like to put it on drawstring number 1, and it looks something like this. So I'm looking at the right side or the outside of my pumpkin sack. I'm going to take my drawstring and I'm going to be weaving it in and out of the spaces between the stitches along row 5 of the actual pumpkin. So underneath the brown row, it's the last row of orange. I'm going to slip it from the front, so the right side to the wrong side, in a space between double crochets, skip 3 stitches, and bring it out through the space between the next 2. So every 3 stitches, I'm going to slip it through a space. And then after I've done maybe 3 of these, if I want the leaf trapped up against the edge of the sack, so like I don't want it to see how I've got it kind of able to move back and forth on the drawstring. If I want it to move back and forth on the drawstring, I'll wait till I'm finished before I sort of slip it on. Otherwise, if I want it right up against the edge without kind of falling down, I can slip it onto the drawstring at any time. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just slip it on just before I'm finished. Every 3 stitches, I'm going to take my drawstring and weave it in, skip 3 stitches, back out through the next space, skip 3 stitches, back in, skip 3 stitches, back out, and so on. So you'll have, because there's 60 stitches in that row, you'll have an even number of every 3 stitches that you can skip and weave your drawstring through those spaces. So it even saves us doing a drawstring row since we're using the double crochet stitch. And because we chained 80, you can still kind of flatten that circle out. Alright, so before I put this one in, I'm actually going to weave it. I'm going to put my little leaf on. So I'm going to take my drawstring, poke it through that little chain 3 space, that little toggle that we made right at the end. There we go. And then I'll just finish weaving it through the last couple of spaces. And like I said, it will still lay flat. So if you just kind of tug it through, kind of loosen up your drawstring a little bit, it'll still lay flat. So this is what it looks like flat. That's really cute too. So there's drawstring number 1. It's woven in and out through every 3rd stitch, the spaces in between. I attached my little leaf, and now when I cinch it shut, now you don't have to do both drawstrings, but I like to. When I cinch it shut, now my little leaf is kind of tucked into place between, so it's not going to want to come off. So that's one option. You can do that so that it doesn't come, it'll always be right up against the edge. Or you can do what I did on the first one, do the full weaving of the drawstring and then slip it on at the end, and like when you tie it, it'll just sort of be there. Plus you can sort of move it around if you want. So it's up to you. Either one is perfectly fine. Now if you're doing both drawstrings like I like to do, because I like to be able to pull it tight like that, you're going to start on the opposite side of where this one begins and ends. So you're going to go to the other side. You're going to use the exact same spaces, but you want this drawstring to cross over top of the stitches. So where this drawstring went under these 3, you want this one to go over these 3. And the way you do that is just kind of go opposite. And this space here is where I'm going to put it in for the first time, because it will now run under these 3 stitches, which my first drawstring runs over. And this way, I'm using the same spaces, but I'm getting complete coverage of those stitches. So in and out, and now you can see that these stitches are going to be covered, and this one, which is already covered by the first drawstring, it runs underneath them. And then you're just using the same holes all the way around. Becky says we could also use them to be like little checker pieces. Yes. You know what you could do, Becky? You could put a treat in them, and every time you won a piece, you could eat the treat. So in and out, in and out. There we go, and it comes out right here. There. So now I've got little drawstrings that if I pull, it cinches the whole top together. I've got my little leaf in here. And if you want, you can tie your little ties, or you can just sort of leave them. And then when you want to open it, you just sort of stick your fingers in the top and pull evenly out both sides, and it loosens it up again. So you can definitely fit a decent little snack or toy in there. And this is just so great. I just love these. They're so cute. And like I said, you can use any set of colors you want to match the theme, to match your table. Yeah. All right. So let's say you were making this in apple colors. I just want to show you how to use our plain. We have an ovular, very simple kind of, it's like I'm sure there is a proper word for that leaf shape that is just sort of mostly smooth on the side, kind of a little potty in the bottom, and then comes to a point at the top. We have a free pattern for that leaf and a tutorial, but a free pattern over on the website. So if you want to pick up that little leaf and use it in conjunction with this pattern, this is how you do that. And you can make these leaves really any number, any size that you want, but let's go for a small one to start. So you start with a slip knot and chain, I don't know, let's say 5. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did I do 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, 6 is fine. So skip the first chain from the hook, slip stitch into the next chain. This creates the top point of your leaf. We're going to single crochet into the next chain, half double crochet into the next chain. That'll leave us with 2 chains. So double crochet into the second last chain, and then into the last chain, which is where your little short tail is connected, work 5 or 6 double crochets. Let's start with 5. 5 will probably be enough. There's lots of variations you can do with this little shape. 5 double crochets all into that last one, and it kind of spins you around. I'm going to leave my little tail out. Actually, no, I'm going to work over top of it. And then you're just going to do the exact same thing in reverse going back up. So double crochet, half double crochet, single crochet, slip stitch. And those are going to be plunked right into the bottom of the stitches that match it from the other side. So double crochet, half double crochet, single crochet, and slip stitch right into the top. Chain 1. So now we've got ourselves that very simple little leaf. Very simple and cute. We're going to slip stitch down the center now. So you take your hook and you slip it into you're looking at those foundation chain spaces that run down the middle. Slip your hook right through it, slip stitch. Slip your hook right through it. I'm just getting that little tail, weaving it in. Slip stitch, hook goes right through. You're grabbing your yarn and you're basically surface chaining all the way down, and you see you get this nice little kind of edge created, or it looks like there's a little vine or a vein running up the middle of your leaf. Then once you get all the way down to the bottom, you find the bottom middle double crochet, and let's not split our yarn. Slip stitch right into the bottom. It'll be a slightly longer double crochet, that's fine. Then chain 3 and slip stitch into the same bottom stitch, just like we did with this leaf. Then you can fasten off, weave in your tail, and you've got the same little toggle on the bottom of this leaf that would allow you to slip it on to the edge of your drawstring when you're feeding your drawstring through your apple or your orange or whatever kind of other maybe fruity sort of fruity feeling little circle sack. So this is a different shaped leaf, and it will just, again, sell the idea of another kind of fruit. And I'm just weaving that tail in across the bottom, and then I'm going to go jump over a stitch and work it all the way back again. Becky! Thank you so much, Becky. Becky has gifted a membership, and congratulations to Kay Luz, who has won it. Congratulations. Welcome to the family, and thank you so much, Becky. Thank you, guys. All right, I've got a little bit of extra tail here from the beginning. I'm just going to weave that in across those back stitches, and that should take care of that. Like I said, we've got a pattern, or a written pattern. We have a tutorial for this style of a leaf. It's one of the first tutorials we ever did, and we have a written pattern for it over on the pattern workshop page of our website, and that's for this little leaf. So if you want that, you can change up the feeling of that little sack, make it feel more like an orange, make it feel more like an apple, and that is another little leaf that you can tuck in to the drawstring. And you would do it the same way. There's this chain 3 space. I just plunked my needle right, or my hook through it. That's what you would weave or pull the drawstring through, and then that will sort of sell the idea of it being a different fruit. So there you go. I thought this would be so cute. And since, you know, I know if you're in America, you are coming up on your Thanksgiving holiday, and we're still technically in the fall here in the West in general. So if you've got like a little autumn party coming, or if you're just sort of having some friends over, you want to give somebody a little pick-me-up, simple little circle sack. This one looks like a pumpkin, but you could literally do any colors you want to make it feel like anything you want. Great little stash buster, and it's just such a cute way to make a little sack. It's pretty decent size too. You can tie up those little drawstrings, and nothing's going to want to fall out. There we go. Tie them into bows if you want. And then of course you've got that little little leaf kind of selling it there at the end. Goodness gracious. Thank you very much, Becky. We really appreciate it. And we really appreciate all of you finding the time to hang out with us on an impromptu live stream on a Saturday afternoon. Just a little kind of a crafty hangout session. Kind of fun to sit and make a little something to celebrate the fall. Oh, I just love this. And yeah, it was kind of fun to do something on a Saturday for a change, because we don't usually have a chance to, but like I said, we're crate training. So we're sticking close to home right now, trying to keep our new puppy used to some kind of a routine. And while she snoozes, it's a nice opportunity to get in a little crochet. Deborah, thank you so much for picking up a pattern. And if you would like to pick up a copy of today's written pattern, it's today's sneaky sale. It's in our Etsy shop. It is up top on the featured listings, and it's 15% off the regular price for today only. And it's a big thank you. If you're here, you're in the know. If you're here, you're in the know. I hope you enjoyed stitching up a little pumpkin circle sack with us. How stinking cute is this? And if you make one, or make one in different colors, or if you make one with the different leaf, or any leaf little toggle, please make sure you send us a picture at our Etsy shop. You can go to the Etsy shop, click on message seller or contact seller. It's kind of located in a few different places. It'll be at the bottom of the page, or if you're looking at a specific listing, it'll be on that listing somewhere. Or if you've already got a message thread open with us, just continue with the same message thread. On a computer or laptop, inside the actual message box, there's a little tiny like icon that looks like a landscape painting. Click that, it lets you attach a photo. If you're on a mobile phone or a tablet, at the bottom, when you open up the messaging system, at the bottom you'll see like a little camera icon. Tap that and it'll let you take a picture or attach a photo too. And that's how you send it to us. And then we can share it with the community at large over on the community tab of our YouTube channel. So right here on YouTube, we've got that community tab. I love sharing the photos that everybody sends us because, you know, if you're kind of thinking to yourself, yeah, it's a cute pumpkin, or yeah, it's a cute coaster, like the coasters we made here on Monday. Those are cute, but you know, you want to sort of see it in a different set of colors, or you can't really imagine it in a different combination of colors. Quite often somebody has put it together in a color combination or just tweaked the pattern a little bit, and the inspiration is awesome. So many people get an idea of how to kind of change things up or make it suit their own decor or their own project just by seeing what other people are doing. So that is really fun. I love being able to share that with everybody. You guys are wonderful. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. Thank you to everybody who has popped in and bought a pattern. The pattern will be on sale for the rest of today, so if you pop in later on today and you're watching this on the replay, the pattern is still on sale, sneaky sale today in the Etsy shop. So big thank you for supporting our show and helping us glow and helping us feed our new growing puppy too. Really appreciate that. She will appreciate it too. And we will see you guys Monday for another live stream. And then, of course, Friday beyond that, we will have another tutorial or another little video coming. Every Friday we have a video. Every Monday we try to live stream, and occasionally we get to sneak in the odd little extra. This Thursday we published a vlog, so if you haven't met Penelope, our new puppy, yet, we have a little vlog introducing you to her, and that is available here on our YouTube channel now. And of course today we had a little sort of surprise live stream, just a little something to get us into the spirit of late fall, American Thanksgiving, all the good things. And I mean, I love pumpkins. I had to do something pumpkin-y this year because I think I do something pumpkin-y every year. But there you go. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, my dears. We will see you Monday. Stay safe, stay crafty, and have a great afternoon. Bye, guys.